Another public test, another huge update on Expeditions. Let me show you 50 new things we know about the Pitt Expeditions with update 34. Hello everyone, welcome back to another Fallout 76 video. Expeditions news have been popping up in batches with every new update. Even last month I covered 20 new things about the Pitt Expeditions, all recent stuff added to update 33 game files, now live in the normal servers. However, Bethesda opened a new public test last week, and now with update 34 we have yet another list of news on the matter. The information and leaks you are about to see have been data mined by the 76 Datamining Community. However, keep in mind that the Expedition system is still in development. It's only coming live in fall 2022, so everything is subject to change and might not end up exactly as what we have in the files right now in the early phases. With that being said, let's get started, shall we? I want to start with this round of Expeditions news with something exciting. Bethesda is planning to add a brand new and exclusive currency type to the Expedition system. The name is still not known. In the files it appears as Expedition Currency, literally, which is most likely a placeholder for a fancier name later on. Anyway, the Vertibird icon will be the new currency's logo, and players will be able to earn it from most likely every completed expedition, which by the way is intended to go way beyond the pit. This new currency is designed with a long-term plan in mind. In other words, Bethesda intends to allow players to earn expedition currency from different expeditions, not just the pit. But I can only imagine a second expedition in years ahead of us, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. Lastly, you might be wondering, what can you do with this new currency? Well, there is no answer in the game files just yet, but it's likely that Bethesda will add a new vendor to the game where players can exchange this expedition currency for new rewards. If I had to guess, I would pinpoint to the Whitespring, since it's about to become the expedition's hub, so it would make a lot of sense. After all, most Appalachian vendors are located there too already, so it's like 1 + 1 to me. Anyway, let's proceed. With update 34, we now have access to the upcoming Expeditions introduction banner. You know, the type Bethesda always adds for new systems, just like the ones we had for Perk loadouts or Legendary Script or even Gold Bullion, as some examples. However, this time things are far from being clear. I mean, this could be the initial banner subject to changes, but as it is, yeah, it hardly covers the system as a whole. It basically tells us Vertibirds are now at the Whitesprings, and players need fully charged batteries to use them to begin an expedition. Yes, I know there are a few more details here, which we will talk about later, but my point is, Expeditions is not just about Vertibirds and batteries, right? That's like the start of it all, the tip of the iceberg, as they say. Anyway, at least we got confirmation and more details with this sort of initial banner, so that's something. In the previous The Pitt Expeditions video, I revealed that Bethesda was working on a tutorial mission regarding gathering fuel, possibly for Vertibirds, which would then give access to the pit. All that information is now validated with the latest files, as you probably noticed by now. The very first Expeditions mission is labeled as a tutorial, and players need fully charged Ultracite Batteries before they can use a Vertibird to then access the next stage, the first real expedition mission outside of Appalachia at the pit. Apparently, players need to complete daily fuel quests in order to fully charge their batteries, which implies some sort of cooldown to access expeditions. I don't think you will be able to start expeditions every single day. This part is still not clear though, it's not in the game files yet, so let's keep moving. It's no news anymore that players have to collect fuel for the Expeditions tutorial mission, but with update 34 we got some changes and new confirmations of how will it work. For instance, the fuel icon changed. With update 33, the fuel icon was like gas. Now with update 34, it's a battery, which makes sense. After all, the newest assets reveal that instead of gas, players need fully charged ultracite batteries, to fly Vertibirds, so we needed something more powerful than simple gas, I suppose. Moreover, as I said in the last point, players need to complete a new type of daily quest to fully charge these batteries, and right now it will all happen at the Monoga nuclear power plant. It has been confirmed once again, as shown. Now, what's left to know is how players can obtain the Ultracite batteries to start with, and then how can they charge them? I think the magic will all happen inside the plant, possibly at the reactor, turbines, or any of the mega infrastructures inside containing radioactive materials. After all, Ultracite tech is based on ultracite, which is a glass-like radioactive ore. But for definitive answers, we will have to wait a bit longer for future updates. Another hard confirmation with Update 34 is the fact that the Whitespring Resort is going to become the Expeditions hub this fall. That's right, everyone. Players will have to head to the heart of Appalachia to access the pit and possibly other new locations down the line. Now, the Expeditions Vertibirds will be located here, but where exactly? Well, the Whitespring is massive. Between all the building complexes and surrounding land, there's endless options for Bethesda to build something new here. They could very well modify the main roof or just create some sort of small airport in the now deserted coal fields. That's probably the easiest and most logical option. I mean, there are vast coal fields infested with cools right now with no real purpose ever since the nukes fell down. So why not turn them into a strategic point for Expedition Vertibirds? But that's just me speculating. For now, all we know is that this landing area will be located here at the Whitespring Resort, and that's it really. Alright, some of you guys have been afraid that Expeditions will turn out to become Daily Ops 2.0. I also was afraid of something alike at the beginning, but it seems like it's not going to happen, thankfully. According to the latest files, Bethesda is working on objective rewards instead of timed or randomized rewards. What does this mean exactly? Well, it means that every time you complete an expedition, you will earn specific rewards as well as expedition's currency, which can then be used to purchase whatever you want or need. It will give you freedom to choose your own rewards. Now, this model is looking peachy, and in my view, it's way more attractive than the daily operations one. However, it's still too soon to draw final conclusions. Another point that has been worrying players is the fact that the pit is not going to be an open world map, as I explored in Update 33's Expeditions video. Bethesda is currently working on cell or instance locations for what's coming, in case you didn't know yet, which will obviously condition the ability to explore and conduct your adventures the way you want. But I have great news for you, well, considering the situation, of course. Now, the pit will still be instance instead of open world. It will not be a map extension of Appalachia, nothing like that, but players will be able to explore and navigate their expedition cells with some degree of freedom, even after completing them. The system is similar to daily operations here, you know, where you can keep going, loot, explore, and navigate the area even after the operation is completed, after the objective is done. So, at least something. Expeditions will feature relatively long missions far from home, and with Update 34, data miners discovered yet more files confirming the ability to pause and resume expeditions at the player's will. So if for some reason the leader feels like it's enough for the day, they can simply pause the progress and come back another time to continue, possibly when they recharge their Ultracite batteries to be able to use the Vertibird again and access the pit. When playing as a team, this decision should affect all the party members, just like it currently works with main missions in Appalachia. The party leader is the boss, the big boss, and they get to make all the decisions for the rest of the team, including to pause and resume the expedition at their will. For fall 2022, the public team system will get a small update as well, following the expedition system. Data miners also discovered a new public team background image, this one to be precise, and a new Vault Boy pilot cartoon, sort of, both planned for a new type of public team. Now, the existing interface is quite full already, which makes me believe they will drop one of the existing ones. Probably hunting, role-playing, or exploration, which are the least used types really, in contrast with events, casual, and daily ops, which are extremely popular and used all the time. Anyway, there is also another icon joining the public team and map systems, which I unveiled in the last Expeditions video. It's the Pitt icon, a reskin of the existing Fallout 3 The Pitt icon, which should serve to inform players when someone is outside of the main map, in this case at the pit. Well, it's all part of the transition into the Expedition system, and these elements will certainly increase the visual gameplay communication, so I say, bring them on. Now, something strange I noticed in the main Reddit Expedition leaks from Update 34, the link is right below the video by the way, is the fact that the few upcoming items part of Season 9 are related to the Pitt Expeditions already. Are they supposed to work as Easter eggs, or is Bethesda trying to hype us up with some faction-related items? I would say it's a bit too early though. After all, Season 9 is coming in June and the Pit will only come in the fall, several months later. Anyhow, data miners identified two related items to the Pit, this Union uniform called the Patrioter, which also includes a matching hat. The outfit's description literally says, "Show your support to the Union." This is one of the upcoming factions coming for the Pit, in case you didn't know. The second item is this Raider's Super Sledge skin, which seems to be a faction skin belonging to the new Radicals or Raiders group at the Pit. The item's description invites players to use it to take down Union representatives, which will be opposite factions, so Union will be fighting these new Radicals. There will be tensions between them, kind of like the Settlers and Raiders in Appalachia, I would say. Well, with this in mind, I think it's safe to say that Season 10 will most likely bring a huge collection of Union and Radical items to match the Pit release, but then again, we will have to wait until the time comes. Another huge revelation with Update 34 is about Expeditions rewards. We now know that Bethesda is planning to release lots of new gear. In my last video, I explored how the Auto Axe is part of the new Pit rewards, but now new interfaces are kinda giving away Bethesda's plans. Just look at that. The Expedition Complete interface is now set to feature many different rewards, such as weapons, armor, and power armor. I think the message couldn't be any more clear than this. There are no details on these new rewards yet, but maybe it's not too difficult to guess, especially if you take a look at what the Fallout 3 The Pit featured. They had quite some interesting and unique gear, so perhaps Bethesda will mimic such gear and bring them into 76, just like they are doing with the automatic axe already. But only time will tell if they are planning something like that or not really. The next point is something I almost missed, but the data miner Madocrot has a sharp eye. He spotted these files about Perk loadouts. It's not 100% set in stone what it really means, but right now it looks like Bethesda plans to give players the option to change their builds at the start of each expedition. Well, that would be interesting and probably handy, especially if it's automatic, without having to interact with any machines or items. Let's say you forgot to change your build or you would like to try something different for your new expedition. Well, with this feature, you would be able to change whatever you want very, very easily on the go right before your expedition kicks off, and I think that's a positive thing. We just learned about Update 34's PTS Pennant reward, but currently there is another Pennant in the game files. That's right, Bethesda has already created the public test Pennant for the Pitt Expeditions, which are some 6 months away at least. It's strange, but then again, Pennants are not so difficult to design, so perhaps that's why it's here already. As per usual, the design is very simple, with some industry running in the background, a very iconic part of the Pit, I would say, the industrial part. And then we have a stretching Vault Boy in front. That part I don't quite get it, but it's alright. We always have Vault Boys normally, so it's totally fine. To unlock it, I suppose players will have to participate, aka log in to the Pitt PTS when it's live, which would follow the latest Pennant requirements. Next, we have the Steel Pit wall bust, which has been part of the game files for 2 patches already, or maybe even longer, I'm not sure anymore. However, with update 34, this item appears linked to Season 9 and also set to cut content. It's really confusing, especially since before it was linked to nothing at all. My best guess here is that they are keeping this item for Season 10 or for a future Atomic Shop release to match the Pit release later in 2022. After all, this is a very iconic item. It's basically a replica of the Steel Pit bust found in Fallout 3, the Pit. As for the last point, I selected something quite obvious, which some of us have been assuming but so far had very little proof of. I'm talking about several expeditions to the Pit, which should come with at least 3 missions. I wouldn't expect too many, but probably a handful of them. The latest interfaces seem to suggest there will be 3 missions, at least, with arrows going both ways to the left and right side, which indicates other expeditions other than the one we already know, the tutorial one. Judging on how Bethesda is planning to make these expeditions quite long, there will be a pause feature even. I don't think there will be too many missions, but perhaps the objectives for these missions can change, which would then give a better dynamic to the entire system. But right now, all we can do is speculate and hope for the best. That's everything I have to report regarding Expeditions and the Pit with Update 34. I know the news were not as exciting and huge as the ones unveiled with Update 33, but we did get plenty of meaningful confirmations and it's a step forward. At least we know more than we did a week ago. Also, I think it's clear that the Expedition system has a foundation already. In fact, I would risk to say that Bethesda is currently working on the real missions with the basics and the tutorial mission out of the way. They surely have internal files and possibly internal testing going on already. I have been collecting dev codes for another video and things seem to be hitting there. It's looking promising indeed, but what do you think? Let me know in the comments section below. Also, if you think I sound weird or don't sound like myself too much in this video, that's because I don't. I'm with COVID. I tested positive a few days ago and I kind of lost my voice. I'm surprised I could even voice this video. So that's why, just to satisfy your curiosity in case you were wondering. Now, I want to leave a huge thanks to the 76 Datamining Community and to MadDocRod2, who helped me a lot with some specific assets and topics. Well, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed. If so, feel free to leave a like, comment below, and all of that. I am Marta Branco. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all very, very soon in the next one. Until then, take care. Adeus. Bye bye.